Hello my friends, it's another episode of 6 Science Facts with Jamie. I honestly love doing this series because I learn new stuff all the time and I hope you learn new stuff too. I'm going to get started right now without any delay. Our first fact is about mammals, and the mammal that we're going to be learning about is the, there we go, chimpanzee. Oh, okay. Our closest living relatives, chimps have been observed using tools in the wild. They shape and use sticks to dig insects out of nests and can be taught to use sign language. They are found in a shrinking range across the center of Africa. In 1961, a trained chimp named Ham was launched into suborbital flight, providing valuable information for the first manned American spaceflight 5 months later. Wow, chimpanzees are our oldest living relative. I knew that they were really smart. I knew that they were capable of sign language. I've seen videos of chimpanzees communicating with sign language, which is so insane. I feel so much for our animal brothers and sisters. If we ever find out a way to communicate with them, they are going to have some things to say to us. That's what I think. Moving on. Our second fact of the day is about fossils and minerals, and this one might be interesting. We're going to learn about salt. There we go. Salt. Those are salt rocks right there in the image. Many ionic compounds are called salts, but what we commonly call salt, like if you like salty fries, that's what this is talking about. What we commonly call salt is sodium chloride, a crystalline mineral that is essential for life. All cultures traditionally use salt to season food and to preserve food, but too much salt in your diet may lead to high blood pressure and other health problems. And like most things in life, you need it in order to survive, but too much will kill you. It's funny how that works, isn't it, guys? Okay, moving on. Now we're going to learn about a flower and a bug. What do you think it is? What's our fact about? Spider. Ooh! I had a friend when I was young who was like phobic of spiders. She wouldn't even look at one in a book. She's not like that now though. Here we go. A spider is not an insect, but an arachnid. It has 8 legs, not 6, and unlike an insect, its head and thorax are combined. Most spiders have 8 simple eyes. They also possess silk glands that produce spider silk, a liquid that becomes solid when it's exposed to air. Spider silk is used to make webs and egg sacs, as well as to wrap prey. The average spider eats 2,000 insects per year. Okay. I didn't know that arachnids and insects were not the same thing. I'm not totally sure what a thorax is, so I can't speak to what it means when it says the head and the thorax are combined. Maybe this is your thorax? So it's saying that like its head is just connected to its body? I think that might be what it is. They are really gross, but I will admit that it is cool that they can produce silk. I think that that's cool. All right. Next up on the gambit is going to be about birds and leaves. We will be learning a fact about, well, multiple facts about the hummingbird. I love hummingbirds. I really do. They remind me of fairies. I bet back in the day people used to think that hummingbirds were fairies sometimes. Maybe. The hummingbird is among the smallest birds, and it gets its name from the sound made by its rapid wings. Some species flap their wings up to 80 times per second. 80 times per second? Oh my God. Pause. So that means that by the time I say one Mississippi. One Mississippi. Those two words, a hummingbird has flapped its wings 80 times. That is insane. I had no idea they were that fast. Some species flap their wings up to 80 times per second. Their humming wings allow these birds to hover in midair and even fly backwards. Hummingbirds can also be seen floating in front of flowers as they drink nectar. They also eat small insects. Oh my gosh, 80 times per second? That is like almost incomprehensibly fast. That is so very cool. I loved that fact. Our last two facts of the day are opposite of each other, which is very fun. Our first one is weather and celestial. Celestial means sky. And our sixth one is going to be under the water. Sky, water. Underneath the water, up top the sky. Alright, anyways, moving on. So our next fact is about weather and celestial, and we're going to be learning about clouds. Clouds are so beautiful. Clouds are collections of tiny water droplets or ice crystals in the air. The water vapor that is in the air all around us is invisible, but it cools as it rises, causing some of the vapor to condense into tiny bits of floating dust. Condense means to come together. Billions of these droplets combine to form clouds. They look solid, but they are lighter and slightly warmer than the air around them, and they are no more substantial than a heavy fog. Okay, so those big puffy things you see in the sky that look like mountains or marshmallows or mashed potatoes, just air. You could wave your hand through it like that, and maybe you would feel a coolness or a difference in temperature, or maybe your hand would be a little wet, but they are not solid. Fact number 6. Under the water, we will learn about narwhals. Narwhal. A toothed whale found in the Arctic, a narwhal is easily recognized by its long tusk. Oops, there it is. That's the tusk right there. Which is actually an elongated upper canine tooth. Wow. So like if you can see on me, these are your canine teeth. That's what they're called. So that tooth is just a canine tooth. Isn't that weird? Nature is insane. The tusk is spiral shaped, hollow, and can be as long as 5 to 10 feet long. That's taller than a grown-up. Easily taller than a grown-up. Scientists are still studying the question of how the narwhal uses its tusks. Its tusk. It only has one. That's interesting. I would assume that they would use it for hunting, but apparently not if they're still researching it. I wonder if it's like how, like peacocks, they show off with their feathers. I wonder if it's the same thing for a narwhal, like you show off with your tusk. Wow, some really interesting facts today. We learned a lot about animals, which was really cool. And then I love learning about the sky, and also underneath the water, so I just love doing this video. I will be very sad when we don't have any more flashcards to pull. This week, on the last portion of 6 science facts, we're going to be reading from a book called Gems and Minerals, which was written by Susan Harris. You can check it out, of course, here at the Blue Island Public Library anytime that we are open. So we're just going to learn a little bit more about minerals, because I don't know very much about them, and it seems very interesting. Alright. I'm going to show you the picture here. Let's see. The Earth's crust, the top layer, contains almost 3,000 different known substances called minerals. Some minerals are unattractive and worth almost nothing. Others are beautiful and also very valuable. Among the most beautiful minerals are gemstones. They form sparkling crystals. When cut and polished, they become gems. The finest gems are made into jewelry and ornaments. Wow. So look, you can see here, this is obviously a rough diamond as it's found in the mine, next to a cut and polished stone. And then here is a bracelet that has lots of different minerals on it. Not just diamonds, but rubies, pearls, turquoise, lots of different things. Many people think rocks and minerals are the same thing, but in fact, they are not. Minerals are the components, which is another word for parts, from which rocks are made. Minerals are what make up a rock. Each mineral has the same composition all the way through. A rock, however, may contain several different minerals. Granite, which is a commonly used rock, is made up of 3 minerals: feldspar, quartz, and mica. However, all granite rocks do not contain equal amounts of these minerals. See? Here's a picture of granite. We can see that these two, even though they're both granite, they don't look the same. Their components are different. Does everyone understand the difference between a rock and a mineral? Minerals form together and make rocks. Or in other words, a rock is just a bunch of minerals put together. And so each rock has a unique combination of minerals inside of it. That's why they're not technically the same. Because minerals are specific and rocks can be any combination of minerals. Okay, I'm going to move on now. Quartz is a common mineral. It's made up of atoms, which are tiny particles, of the elements silicon and oxygen. These atoms are always joined together the same way in quartz. For every atom of silicon, there are 2 atoms of oxygen. Every piece of quartz has exactly the same composition. So the chemical composition of quartz is always going to be the same. It's going to have, for every 1 silicon, there's going to be 2 oxygens. So for every 1 atom of silicon, there's going to be 2 atoms of oxygen. 2 to 1, always. That's the chemical compound, and it never changes for quartz. As noted earlier, most rocks may contain several minerals, but chalk, limestone, and marble contain only 1 mineral. This mineral is called calcite. Calcite is composed of calcium carbonate, a white powdery compound, which is another word for a mixture. Here is a picture of some calcium crystals, or I'm sorry, some calcite crystals, what we were just talking about. It looks amazing. Very orange. One form of calcite is called Iceland spar. A piece of Iceland spar is very interesting. You can look through it, and when you look through it, you see double, which means you see 2 images instead of just 1 like you usually do. This is known as double refraction. See? I've seen a lot of decorations like this. Someone will carve something in the middle, and then it'll make it almost look 3D inside. That's very interesting. Minerals vary in hardness, which means resistance to scratching. Every mineral has a hardness that is always the same and never changes. Sometimes minerals look alike. They can be identified only by their hardness. So they're saying that when you're looking in a mountain or in the ground or wherever you're looking for minerals, you have to build a mine and look for them. No matter what kind of mineral it appears to be on the outside, most minerals look the same until you get to the inside. So they're telling you that the only way you can know what kind of mineral you have is to test its hardness. That's the way to verify. And to verify means to make sure that something's true. Whenever you make a claim about something, it's always important to verify it, to make sure it's true, and to not just say something that you hear that you think sounds right without checking, or else you might get caught up. Or if you're, a mineral miner, if you don't verify, then you could sell someone a diamond for very cheap because you didn't test its hardness properly, or what have you. Mineral hardness is measured on a scale that runs from 1 to 10. It is called the Mohs hardness scale. Here's a picture of Mohs hardness scale right there. I'll read off the order. Mohs hardness scale. Number 1, talc. Number 2, gypsum. Number 3, calcite. Number 4, fluorite. Number 5, apatite. Number 6, feldspar. Number 7, quartz. Number 8, topaz. Number 9, corundum. And number 10, the hardest mineral of all, diamond. A girl's best friend? No, I'm just kidding. They use diamond for so many different things. If you remember, we actually had diamond as a flashcard in a previous episode, so we learned a little bit about it. A diamond is the hardest of all. The only thing that can scratch a diamond is another diamond. A harder mineral can always scratch a softer one. Minerals are easiest to recognize when they are in the form of crystals. There are 6 basic crystal shapes, and they vary from mineral to mineral. But each mineral has a typical crystal shape that it is usually in. So here they have pictured the typical crystal shapes. We see that pyrite is typically in a square. Barite is that strange shape. Gypsum looks like a gem. So as we've read, minerals can be lots of different things, take lots of different forms, and we can do lots of different things with them. But one of the most important things that we do with them is make metal. And we make, once we make the metal, we use it for so many important things. We use it for medical tools, we use it for cars, for the phones that you're watching this on. We use it for everything. So minerals are very important, which leads to our next part. Large amounts of minerals are used in the world every day. Mining, which is taking minerals from the ground, is a very important industry. Sometimes mineral deposits are near the surface of the ground. Then the topsoil is removed and the deposit underneath is shoveled up. This is called strip mining. Here's a picture of strip mining. That's in South Africa. I know it's not very clear. Many minerals found in deposits Many minerals, however, are found in deposits that are thousands of feet below the Earth's surface. Huge machines are used to do part of the mining work, but people must still go down into the ground and work the machines. Coal is a rock that is mined underground by people and machines. It is dark, dirty, unpleasant work, but coal is needed for many things. A very simple form of mining is called panning. A miner puts gravel from a riverbed into a pan. Then the gravel is swirled around with water. The light gravel washes away. If there is any gold present, it is heavy and remains in the bottom of the pan. Today, not many people use panning to look for gold in river gravels. Instead, dredging machines are used. A great many minerals are found in veins deep down in rocks. The minerals have to be extracted by underground mining. In South Africa, some gold mines go over 2 miles down into the ground. The deposits have to be blasted from the rocks with explosives. The next time you see beautiful jewelry, ornaments, or statues, stop and think. Remember all the human work that went into creating them. All right, wow. I learned so much. Everything that we pull out of the ground from, well, of course, we learned about what makes a mineral in the beginning. It's a very specific compound, but when we pull those compounds out of the ground, whether it's coal or gold or diamonds, those are all minerals, and we use them in lots of different ways. This was a great 6 science fact. I learned so much. I loved learning about the orangutans. I loved learning more about these minerals and gems, and I hope you did too. Comment, tell me what you what book you want me to pick out and read next week. I'm leaning towards clouds maybe, so if you want something else, go ahead and comment. Otherwise, I'll see you next week. Have a great day. Thanks for tuning in.